were they talking about tonight in the lesson? Where liberty is distorted or liberty is twisted or perverted? What were the two ways that we were cautioned against? Does anyone recall? Raise your hand if you know the answer. Please don't be shy. When we think about the writing of Paul that we read tonight, his instruction concerning liberty, there were two things that he warned us against. Does anyone remember what those two things are? Or even just one of those things? I think on the back row they might have an answer. Raise your hand. What made liberty repulsive or distorted? I'm trying to get everyone thinking tonight. Please don't be shy if you know the answer. I'll give you a clue. One has to do with earning salvation, and the other has to do with thinking that we have a license. So can anybody explain in a little more detail what I mean by that? It's okay, I'll give you the answer tonight, so we can all take it away. The two ways that he was warning is that we shouldn't believe that we earn salvation through our works. That's not the liberty that he's talking about that we have in Christ. We have been actually set free from that system where we earn salvation by our good works, or we earn God's love, or we earn righteousness by the good works that we do. That we've been set at liberty from the law, the Jewish law, the traditions, the rituals, all of those things which they did so that they could be forgiven. And so it would be a perversion of God's liberty if we, after being forgiven of sin and receiving grace, then think that we're going to be made perfect by going back to doing the law. Because we've already been set free from the law. So that was the first thing that he warned against, is that we can't go back to thinking that God is looking at us with a big checklist of pluses and minuses. And, if I said a bad word today, then I have to do 5 good things to cancel the bad thing. He's trying to break that mindset, because that was the way the Jewish tradition of the Jewish law worked. It was all about pluses and minuses. And we've been set free from that because of God's grace. So that was the first problem, that people were forgetting the grace of God, forgetting that they've been set free from the law. And the second, does anybody know what it was? It has to do with the license. Okay, I'll tell you the second one. The second one has to do with believing that because we've been set free and because we have grace, that we have this license, like a driving license. And on that driving license it says, no rules, I can sin all that I want to because I have grace and I've been set free. And that would be as foolish for us to believe that as it would to go back to trying to live according to the law. So in between those two extremes, the one extreme is legalism or law, and the other extreme is license, where I'm free to do whatever I want to do because I have grace and Jesus died for me, and so I don't have to live at all with any restrictions. I can just do what I want to do. And that would also be a perversion of God's grace. the distortion of the liberty. That's the one he called repulsive. What is true Christian liberty? It's understanding that we've been set free from the law, that we've been set free from the old covenant, but also understanding that because we've received the grace of God, that God has saved us so that we can live for him and to be holy as he is holy. So one of the fruits of the Spirit is self-control. So we don't just do what our flesh wants to do, because now we're under the Spirit of God and we have power to overcome sin. So God doesn't set us free from the law so that we can just sin as much as we want. He sets us free from the law so that we can live according to his law, which is the law certain on our hearts, the circumcision of our hearts. And the grace that he's given us is so that we can become more like Jesus. So we should discipline our flesh, and we should walk in righteousness and holiness, and we should serve the Lord. We should do the things that he wants us to do. Not because we are saved by those things, but because we've received his grace and he saved us. It really goes to our motives. Why are we doing what we're doing? Are we doing it so we can go to heaven? Or are we doing it because we want to please God and we want to be like Jesus? And I hope that our motives will always be, I'm so thankful for the grace of God and the liberty he gave me. I don't ever want to go back to jail again. I don't ever want to be a prisoner to the law, and I don't ever want to be a prisoner to sin again, because I've been set free. Can we give the Lord praise? Thank you, Lord.